Hello, welcome to my channel. This video is a little bit different than what I usually post, and I wanted to say just a few things before we actually get into it. Firstly, if you want to go ahead and watch the video, there's really no reason to listen to this. There's just a little bit of information I wanted to give before you watch it. Go ahead, walk ahead. I'll put the timestamp up here, or you can use the chapters to find the actual video. Secondly, I do want to say as a bit of a disclaimer that I have been working on this video for probably close to a year now. Not only was it one of the first videos that I ever drafted, but it's also been exported from my laptop to my Chromebook to my phone. It's been a whole bunch of different places. I'd work on this video for a few days at a time and then drop it for like 6 months only to start it back up again. So there are a few editing inconsistencies throughout it too. Sometimes the way I write was different, sometimes the way I edited was different. There's just a few things here and there that I think you can see if you're really looking for them, but I definitely do still think that this video is easily consumable. I wouldn't post it if I didn't think that, and I do still think that is an enjoyable video. Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I made this video and why I made it the way I did. So, as I said, this was one of the first videos I ever drafted. It's definitely heavily inspired by the A to C K-pop song trend that was a trend like earlier this year. I had this idea as I was talking with some friends. I don't really remember how the topic came up, but we were talking about like letters and numbers, and I remember saying how, every letter has a certain color tied to it. A is red, B is blue, C is green, etc., etc. And they were looking at me like I was insane. And I was like, no, this is something we learned about in school, you just don't remember because we were in like kindergarten. They were like, no, that definitely never happened. And I kind of just brushed it off at the time, only to go home and look it up and realize that they were 100% right. This is not something that is taught in school. From what I read, it's actually a form of synesthesia. If you don't know what synesthesia is, it's described as a cross-wiring of the senses. I've heard it referred to in music before. The way I've always heard it is if, say, somebody heard the note G, they'll see the color green in their head. I think some people see shapes, some people see colors, some people hear certain things when they see things, some people taste certain things when they see things. It's basically just when you intake one sense and you feel it through another. And I know that's a weird way of explaining it, but that's really the best way I can. And I will link some articles in the description that kind of talk about it if you want to read up on it. I think it's very, very interesting. I've always thought the human brain is so interesting in that way. We know so much about it on the more biological side, but we really don't know hardly anything about it on the more psychological side, and we're kind of just swimming in deep water there. And I think this is definitely a very interesting bit of that little bit of knowledge that we just don't know. But from what I read, this form of synesthesia is actually pretty common. This video does go a little bit deeper than the colors. Every letter will also kind of have a gender attached. I could find a little bit of information on that, but not nearly as much. It definitely doesn't seem to be one of the more talked about ones, one of the more common ones, but it is heavily involved in this video. And lastly, one thing that I really couldn't find much on at all, at least in references to synesthesia, is that every letter and number to me has a certain personality attached. To me, these letters are like living, walking, breathing beings. They have full-on personalities. So, for example, the letter C is this guy that's kind of really carefree, very nature-esque, very hippie-like. He's very chill, calm, collected, very easygoing. Obviously, he's green. To me, I kind of just see this really big figure walking around in a green blob, in a way. And I tried to really articulate this the best I could in my video. It's a very hard concept to say out loud, though, as it is something that kind of solely exists in my brain. But I do think that is important for me to touch on as it inspired how I created this video. So now let's get into how this video is going to be formatted. So before every letter, you're going to be kind of introduced to it. You're going to see a little biography about it. It'll talk about the letter and how I see it personality-wise. Sometimes it'll talk about it in relativity to reality. I'll talk about the letter itself, how common it is, how uncommon it is, the sounds it makes. And sometimes it will just be how I see the letters in my own imagination. This will inspire some of the songs that I choose. I hope it'll make more sense when you watch the video. As you are introduced to the personality of the letter, you will also be introduced to the color that I see when I look at it. This also plays a small role in the song choices, but definitely not nearly as much as the personality aspect. And as far as the gender aspect goes, there will be 3 songs after this little introduction, and they will all either be boy group songs or girl group songs, which obviously indicates what I see when I look at the letter. There are some small exceptions to this rule. Sometimes you will see 2 girl group songs, then a boy group song, or sometimes you'll see a co-ed song thrown in. These are just the letters that I don't really see as specifically male or female, but I don't know if there's a real life counterpart to it, or at least something that I'm aware of. I think these are just concepts that, again, solely exist in my head, and that's why I find it really hard to articulate some of these things out loud. But like I said, I really hope when you watch the video, this will all make a lot more sense, and I'm really sorry that my explanation isn't the best, but I just really hope that this makes sense when you watch the video, I guess. And I think that's all I have to say on this. Thanks for watching, I really hope you enjoy it, and buckle your seatbelts and get ready for the ride, I guess.
No 필요 없지 aespa 내 안에 hashtag So I envy you. And you, I'm your girl. You, I don't understand. 애매한 게 거짓 마요. 넌 내 빙빙빙빙빙. Baby, think about me all night long. 우리 함께하는 이 시간 꿈속에선 오직 우리 둘만. I feel I love you. Oh, I love you. Oh, I like you. Do I know you? Oh, I
서로의 밤을 모두 치우자. It's gonna be fine. 괜찮은 너의 세상은 지금은 너 그대로 소중하고 또 소중해서. 그래도 그 날개를 갖고 있지. Only you, only you. 내가 했던 말은 거짓말이야. 떠나갔던 말 다 거짓말이야. All lie, all lie. Pull me out, take me all the way down. Tell me now what's on your mind. Tell me now so I can be there. 널 위한 midnight sun. 너와 함께면 밤은 오지 않아. 나는 midnight sun. 그러니까 just stay with me. And I feel we're the new heroes. We're the new heroes. 잃어갈게. 이 밤을 핑계 삼아 또 한 번. I wanna dance with you and somebody. Can I just go dance with anybody? 진짜로 엉망진창이니까 그런 형식적인 거 말고 아름다워. 더 이상 홀로 있게 두지 마. 슬퍼지니까 같이 한번 하면 All eyes on noise. Omega mega X. We're coming so mad. 보라빛 그대여 눈뜨면 다 사라져. 엉망이 되고 내게만 I want for 때문에 흔들릴 뻔한 듯해 들어 baby. I want it, you know. 두렵지 않아. 내 심장을 여기 데려와. 내게 와줄래. 오직 나만의 귀. 구름 위에 가린 저긴 어디. 궁금한 건 참을 수가 없지. 넌 앞장서서 걸어. 알고 싶어 널. 너 radio we sing our song 넌 아직까지 여기 우리 둘이 loving I dream the dream 너 갈망해서 I dream the dream이 절망해서 어둠 너머에 끝이 있던 상상을 우리가 네 목소리인지 날 부르는 소린지 나만 널 생각하니
써버려 슈 Butterfly처럼 난 네 맘을 boom 변한 건 싫어 see what I can do I'm a savage 널 짓밟아줄게 oh. Get me now get me now 사하라 모든 걸 바꿔 재빨리 요동치는 앰비션
널 지켜줄게 지금 내 손을 잡아 누구보다 너의 맘을 잘 알아 Every time 눈을 가려 아무것도 보지 않게 말야 자꾸 내 맘을 찔러 더 내 시선이 내게로 번져가
I think I'm okay and nobody wants to love me just like her. I wanna be free. I'm such a buzz. You're the untouchable. Make it come true. Make it happen to you. Make it happen to you.
넌 나의 태양 넌 나의 tempo 내 삶을 밝혀위 넌 나의 태양 vicious smile 못해 very very vicious smile 모든 감각 다 있다 모든 감정 다 있다
저녁해가 진 후에 어둠이 내린 후에 나를 집으로 데려다 주세요 밤늦기 전에 이 좋은 시절의 내 모습이 잠들지도 몰라요 when we are say 말해줄래 시끌벅적 달려가 일주일도 왜 우린 항상 못 알아 oh yeah 실수해도 괜찮아 내 손을 잡아봐봐 라라라 괜찮아 이리 와봐
No telling